We are in the middle of a podcast called Do the Thing and You Shall Have the Power. A saying that we learned from Jeff Olson in his book, The Slight Edge. On my previous podcast, we talked about the importance of having healthy coping habits. We just got done talking about one of them, which is breathing. The next one that I think is critically important is stretching. For many, many years, I was an incredibly unflexible person. I'm talking about, I think, the worst of the worst. Almost laughable. And one quarter, I was away at a strategic coach class that I made the decision that, hey, I want to get better at stretching. So I went and did some research and did some studying and found out a couple things, which is stretching is all about regularity. It's all about consistency. More so, though, it's all about getting on the floor. For whatever reason, as we get older in life, we stop getting on the floor. When we're kids, we're on the floor all the time, playing with blocks, playing with dolls, whatever it is, we're on the floor all the time. But as we get older and we age, it's almost like we become afraid of the floor. Because, the floor is where we fall, where we get hurt. So I am a big proponent of all of us regularly getting on the floor. So I can tell you that just about every night at my house, before we get to bed, before we go to bed, I'm on the floor. A lot of times my wife and I are in bed and she'll be in bed and I'll be on the floor or she'll be down on the floor with me. We'll have something on. Last night we were watching Stranger Things and I was down on the floor. I was down on the floor for about an hour and 20 minutes yesterday. Did I intend to? No. But I was just sitting there. There's something powerful about your body being on the floor, and it's almost like we get these massages for our bodies to work out all the different pain points in our bodies. The reality is I'm touching different parts of my body when I'm on the floor, and they're getting this different the different pressure points from the floor. So it's like I feel fantastic after I've stretched. I do it right before I go to bed. So today I want to share with you maybe 8 to 10 different stretching techniques that I do just about every day. First thing I usually start on is just sitting in this squat like this, finding my center. You can grab here at your toes, sit up straight, and look to bring your legs, your knees down. Look at my knees. Andrew, if you would, and we've got Andrew behind the camera. Look, I'm looking to keep my my knees down, my feet together. Looking for the best that I can to keep my back straight. Now, I love to hold these stretches for a minimum of 60 seconds. Sometimes quite a bit longer. I'll hold them sometimes for up to 2.5 minutes. I have no timer today, so just know that I might go longer than a minute, might go shorter, a minute minimum, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes if you can. Magnificent. Key thing is here, pulling in my feet, pulling in those toes here. If you're more comfortable holding here, you can do that. And if you like, you can push your knees down with your elbows. It's really up to you. I'm looking to breathe through the exercise as well. I very rarely do meditation. And I know I've heard for many, many years that meditation is so good for you. I tend to stretch as part of my meditation. I also breathe as part of my meditation. What you're noticing is I'm extending my foot, my left foot, looking to keep my knee straight. Okay? By the way, this is what I wear when I'm stretching at night. You may wonder why I've got some perfect push-up things here. I told Andrew that maybe we'll end this session the same way I end before I go to bed and see how many push-ups I can get in a row. Maybe we'll do that. See how we feel. So what I'm doing is I've got my legs straight, bent, foot bend in, holding here. And what I want to do, if you can, look to bring your arm over. So now I'm getting two stretches. I'm getting a stretch here in my leg, but I'm also getting a stretch right here. And just hold. And breathe. So right now, if you're watching or listening to this in your truck, my left leg is kicked out straight. My right leg is bent into my left leg. My left arm is reached out, touching my toes, and as I'm doing it more and more, I'm reaching further and further as long as I keep my knee straight. And then I'm reaching out with my right arm so that I stretch this part of my body as well. Okay. Come up. We're going to go to the other side. Again, if you can only reach this far to start, that's okay. Let me assure you, I was probably back here when I started, okay? But this is the beauty, this is the magic of doing this regularly. Okay, keep your knee straight, right? I even like to turn my foot in a little bit because my foot naturally wants to go out. Okay, I'm really feeling that. Now I'm gonna come over here with my left hand. So those of you that are, again, watching this or listening to this on Spotify, my right leg is out, my left leg is bent, and my foot is touching the inside of my right leg. My right arm is reaching out to my toe, and my left arm is coming over and grabbing at my wrist. And if you prefer, put your head down. And breathe. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Next thing we want to do is this is called a downward dog. And you're going to notice that when I do my downward dog, I do it on my knuckles, because if I do it this way with my palms down, my wrists begin to bother me. So I've always done it this way, very similar to how I do push-ups. When I'm without the perfect push-up, I do push-ups on my knuckles, mainly because I hurt my wrists. My wrists begin to bother me. So what I do is I go up this way. Okay. Okay, and you can notice my feet are up, and I'm looking to do this, what's called a downward dog. And if you want to kind of go back and forth here, key thing is look to keep your back straight as you're pushing through your head, through your arms. You'll notice the backs of my feet are up. The backs of my heels are up. If you want to put your heels down to get more of a stretch, you can do that. It just becomes difficult to keep my back straight. And like I said before, if I want to go back and forth, lean left and right here, I can really feel that in my hamstrings. I really feel this also in my calves. Okay, from this stretch, I want to go into what's called an upward dog. I release my feet. Putting my head up. Okay. Again, if I want to move around a little bit, if there's anything crunchy or, just hold for at least a minute. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. The next stretch I like to do is called a child's pose. Put my hands up in front of my shoulders. And I look to push myself back into what I'm looking at doing is pushing my chest to the ground as best I can and pushing back with my hands so that I push myself back towards my feet. And breathe. I really want to feel this where my armpits are, my arms, my triceps. Again, and I'm looking to push my chest towards the floor so I feel it, a lot of it in my shoulders. And I often have to remind myself to breathe, because for whatever reason, I can hold my breath when I'm doing these and forget to breathe. Next one is a simple one called a cat-cow, where you kind of stick your bottom up and head goes up, almost like a cat camel it's called. So like a cat, and then you go up, and then you flex to where you lift your back up, almost like the bump on a camel. And you go back into that cat position, releasing your feet. Back into the camel. Extend those arms. Head down. And go back into that cat. Head up. Stuff feels so good. Last time, cat. Camel. Okay. One of my favorites that I've been working on for years is what's called a pigeon pose. Painful as hell when I first started. And what I do is I get my right foot forward, okay, and you'll see I'm extending my left foot back, okay, and what I want to do is I want to see as best I can I get this into a 90-degree position? As best I can. A lot of times, there's no way I was able to do this out of the gate. What I want to do is I want to see if I can extend my hands above my feet like this. Now, there's tension in my body when I stretch like this. I want to look to release that tension and get more into the stretch. Ooh. And breathe. This is something I used to be able to only hold for like 45 seconds, a minute max, and I was dead. And then you just do it over and over and over and over again. And it gets better and better. Is it ever perfect? Never. Never. So there's something you can do with this one if you want to get a little more advanced. You can sit up. Hold that baby for 30 seconds and feel that. So where breathing gets really difficult. Yeah, I'm feeling that. It's so good. So good. Switch to the other side. Get yourself set in it. Okay, now I'm gonna adjust because I've been in it for a little bit longer, so I can adjust a little deeper. Something I like to do as a freak is I like to see, can I touch there? Holy cow. Why I do that, I have no idea. Just to challenge myself and continue to get deeper. Oh man, we're on this journey together. It's so beautiful. I find that when I stretch, my body is able to move so much better, so much faster, whether I'm playing tennis or golf and swinging. I'm just so much more athletic after I've been able to regularly stretch like this. Okay, here's that last thing. Holy cow. Why? Just because. Okay. One thing I've learned and realized about my body, and it has to do with the amount of sprained ankles I got when I was young playing tennis, is how poorly my ankles are. You're gonna laugh at stretching. Like I watch my wife do this stretch. And she's pretty amazing when she's able to touch here. You'll notice that I have a really difficult time stretching there, meaning I'm really deficient when it comes to ankle flexibility, or I might be strong in some areas. Holy cow. Do I have a lot of work to do here? So this is one where a lot of things come up for me. And I like to keep my knees together, as you can see, and I like to see if I can push my ankles in, because it's too easy for them to fall out. And then it becomes a much easier stretch. Whereas if I'm sitting back on my bottom on my heels, I am feeling that. Holy cow. God bless America. Here's where I really have to go into the zone and feel it in my breath, because boy, oh boy, am I feeling that. Sit up straight for another 10 seconds. Okay. Okay, this next stretch, I really like it because it stretches out my shoulders. You're gonna notice that I'm decently flexible here. So what I do is I put my right leg down straight. I put my left knee crossed over. I put my right hand on this knee. Put my head down. Move down a little bit. Down a little bit. Now I just do this rotation. You can see how far my hand is off the ground, right? So watch it here for now, right? And keep an eye on me. I'm putting this pressure on this left knee of mine. And I'm also moving my left arm back and forth and then coming down here. See how I finish the flex down here at the bottom? So again, oh, that was a little bit of a speaker issue. Breathing, watch what happens when I'm able to breathe and release, and watch how close it gets, closer and closer it gets to the ground. Each time I breathe, my left arm and my left shoulder, my left pectoral muscle is much tighter than my right. You'll be able to see this. But if you see now, I'm able to touch the ground where I wasn't able to at the beginning of this stretch. It was probably 2 or 3 inches off the ground. But as I hold it longer, key thing is keeping that right leg straight and adjusting as the stretch goes on. And then again, coming back one more time, down here. Okay, now we're gonna go to the other side. Move the stuff so it's out of the way. Okay. Oh, man. So good. Get the arm warmed up a little bit. Go back and forth. And then finish here. Again, notice how I'm off the ground. My arm is unable to touch when I start. But then as I do it more and more through this stretch and look at my left hand, it'd be one thing if I was doing this, because look, it's easy to touch if I let my leg raise like this, but then when it goes down and you're pulling it down with your left hand, and now look at how it's able to touch the ground on this side. So much easier on my right side than it was on my left. We're approaching our last couple stretches. Keep moving this back and forth like this, or you can let it sit like that if you want, your choice. See how my arm just lays down like this on this side compared to the other side where it's off the ground. And I stretch this quite a bit. So just know that it takes a long time. And then finish with that stretch right there. Straighten out your leg to kind of reset. What I'm looking for here is all of this rotation. Okay. One of my favorite stretches. Well, I'll get to that in just a second. I want to do one where you've got something where you can stretch your quads. This one I like to come forward like this. So put your foot forward and then have your knee come out over top of your toe, your right knee. And you'll notice this is flexing here like this, right? And then if you want more of a stretch, lift your arms up. Holy cow, baby. And then just hold it and breathe. Wow, am I feeling that? Gosh, so good. Switch sides. Always do it. Always switch in controlled manner. Come forward. And once you come forward, you're feeling that right in here. Your quads. And then come up over top. If you want to just go like this, you can. So good. Okay, I recently had a knee injury playing tennis, so I'm just getting back to doing this stretch. Ooh, yeah. Which to me is probably one of my favorite stretches. You put your feet out like that. A lot of people like to push. This is designed, though, to keep your arms on the inside. And you just sit back on your heels. Yeah, I'm really feeling that from a knee injury that I had playing tennis. I probably need to be careful on this one. But I just know that it's so good. I know there's names for all these stretches. So good. Do this one for about another 20 seconds. Just sit here. You can sit here on your heels like this. Super powerful. So good for your body. Hold. Okay. Feel that. I shared with you that I was going to see. It's one of the things I like to do at night before I go to bed is see how many push-ups I can do. So let's see what Kev's got in him right now. What do you think, Andrew? How many do you think I got in me? Let's see if I can get 40 in a row. Okay? Should practice. 1, 2, 3.
Let's go. Okay.
That's 40. Good way to end. Typically the way I'll end my night, I'll look to do some push-ups, something to do some strength. This is probably after I've already done some type of workout during the day, but just kind of like to finish with some push-ups. And I'm ready for a great night's sleep. I really am. It's just marvelous. You're talking to a guy that was absolutely the most inflexible guy there was. And I say that with all seriousness. And I say it also not to impress you, but to impress upon you that stretching is something we all can do and get better at. It's just about being consistent, getting on the floor. And it is so good for your mind, body, and soul. And I tend to like to do this because I know that I'm going to be around here for a long time. And I got a hell of a future. And this kind of stuff is what makes and allows me to be focused on a bigger future. So ladies and gentlemen, here's to a bigger future. Thank you very much.